for having our backs.
Thank you for always putting students first.
Happy retirement!
Happy retirement from Wall Elementary! Hancock King appreciates you! Hancock King! Hancock King! Thank you for everything you've done. Love the Riggs Roadrunners. Beep beep!
When Bob Rice was first elected, I knew immediately he was a really great guy and I was going to enjoy working with him. But there was absolutely no way that I could know at that particular point what a dynamic school board member he would become. He has brought forward so many beneficial changes to the district that we will reap the benefits of for years.
I think one of his major contributions certainly is as the major architect of our Journey 2025 strategic plan. Bob taught us the importance of continuous growth. He brought his experience from Intel, and it has just been a fabulous 16 years.
His focus on a measurable strategic plan brought Chandler schools to even a higher level of respect and student success within the state and the nation.
And he always basically said, what goes unmeasured doesn't get done, and what gets measured gets done very well. And so I think that was a big change in our district as to, okay, we're going to do it well, we're a great district, but we're going to show it through metrics.
And I don't think that that would have happened if it hadn't have been for Bob's original vision on that. And I think that it has really helped our district progress very, very well. I think that's one of the most important contributions that he's had to the district.
And so no matter where we're at as a district, it was always about how do we get better? How do we make the next step? And I think he'll see in his legacy that that's where Chandler Unified will always be. Chandler Unified now will always be in a position where we're seeking to become better day in and day out at the things we do, at the outcomes for kids, where we're truly trying to be the best district in the nation, as he's codified over and over and over again.
What always amazes me about Bob is probably a few things, but one is he's so visionary. He is so forward-thinking. And that was such a challenge, and I think kept the district on a different path because he was looking into the future, of course, and putting that in a practical way so that we knew the steps that we needed to get there. I love the fact that he said he wanted to be the best in the nation. He was proud, and he was not ashamed or to say that, and to go ahead and put that out there so we could follow along.
When you meet Bob, he comes across as a little stiff and a little corporate. He's a big, tall guy, and he's just that guy that you just don't want to get stuck in an elevator with. But as you get to know him, the data piece, that's important, but it's the personality and the person piece that he's really looking out for. He wants every single person, every student, every administrator, every teacher to have that opportunity to get to their full potential.
16 years ago, when I became a principal in the Chandler Unified School District, Bob had also just become a school board member. And he contacted me saying that he wanted to come out to Sanborn to meet with me. And of course I was a little nervous because he was a school board member. And we sat down, and Bob wanted to talk to me about my goals for Sanborn and my goals as an administrator in the Chandler Unified School District. And I remember that being a really significant moment for me because I had been in my previous school district for 19 years and I had never interacted one-on-one with a school board member.
It was always interesting when I would receive my evaluations from the governing board because I could always count on Bob to give me such tremendous feedback. And it usually was, Camille, you're doing really well, but we can do better. So I always knew I was never going to reach that pinnacle of perfection. But with Bob, he kept encouraging me, and it was heartfelt on his part and deeply appreciated on my part.
Bob is a servant leader. He puts the time in. You know that he's forward thinking. He's always thoughtful. And what's really nice in my position as we're trying to move the needle is that he listens. You know, he's going to listen to what you have to say. He's going to do his own research in order to really be educated on the area that he's going to speak on. And at the same time, he's going to give you opportunities to grow and allow him to grow as we're doing this together.
Education is a big deal for me, and it was a big deal for Bob. And Bob and I hooked it up, and with several other people, and started the Chandler Education Coalition. That led to, after the first few meetings, we figured out a cause and we started the Chandler Science Spectacular. It's been running now for 6 or 7 years, one of the largest events in the state in terms of science. From that, we started talking about how else can we help in the community, and one of the biggest challenges we all have is birth to 5. And it was a matter of getting kids ready to read when they got to school. And Bob really took a leadership with that, and we formed Read On Chandler.
I've watched him across the state be a huge influencer. He's currently on the school facilities board. There's been a lot of changes there, and he's part of that. He's progress. He makes progress happen. And I've also been able to see him help other districts. So other governing boards have been able to look to him for help. He's a great mentor. And so not only has he helped me personally, he helps all of our cabinet, he helps administrators in our district, but he's really helped everybody across the state. People know who Bob Rice is because of the great works.
Bob's a bike rider too, and I rollerblade, and often we'd check in with each other on how we're doing on our respective sports. Bob would ride hundreds of miles to the few miles that I would rollerblade. And sometimes I'd hit a stone or a bump and I'd take a tumble, and I'd come and tell Bob about my bumps and my bruises. And then finally, after many conversations about his bike riding and my rollerblading, Bob confessed to me that he had taken a spill and fallen off his bike. And here all along I thought he was perfect. Bob, I will miss you so much. You have been a great leader and mentor and a friend.
For 16 years, he's been a wonderful board member, and we truly, my department, myself, just really appreciate everything he's given to my departments, this district, and the governing board. So I just want to say on behalf of the entire support services department, Bob, thank you very much.
Bob, thank you so much. You have just been a true north, a core value person, and it's been a privilege and honor to follow your lead. And I am definitely a better person and a better professional because of you.
I know, for one, I'm a better administrator, I'm a better person, and I'm a better community advocate because of Bob. Thank you, Bob.
Bob, it has been great working with you. I think you're exceptional in what you do and what you've contributed to the district, and you'll be greatly missed. We really appreciate your service.
You've just been of significant value in my life, and I couldn't say thank you and express my gratitude to you enough to ever repay you for the things you've done on behalf of the community at large, through Rotary, through the governing board membership, through our friendship. Just thank you, and an immense amount of gratitude for the legacy you're leaving behind and for the direction that you've pointed Chandler Unified in.
You're an amazing man, and I am just so glad that I had this opportunity to work with you, and I continue to look for your guidance even in the future. Thank you so much.
Bob, I want you to know I think you're Chandler's secret weapon, and I am going to miss you beyond words.
Grandma, we're so glad you could spend more time with us.
We're sad,
but we're glad. Happy retirement! Weinberg loves you! Yay!
Grandma, we just want to say thank you for the huge difference you made on our district.
Loves and kisses.
See you at dinner on Sunday.
We've always wanted to talk about Annette behind her back, so now we have the chance.
I think that she embodies service above self. And I think that that has been a huge contribution to Chandler Schools.
A lot of times when we'd be in difficult discipline situations, you know, and talking about kids who had some problems and difficulties, and she always put the kids' welfare first, always the students' welfare beyond the parents and everybody else, and she looked after those kids.
Well, she's always been a team player. You know, she has her own viewpoints and opinions, but she's always open to listen to what the rest of us and the community has to say, and she changes her mind sometimes.
There was one time in this building in Chandler High School when I had a talk with a couple of teachers. It was right when I first got started on the school board, and they had talked about how the career and technical program was, nobody paid attention to it, it was going in the dumps, and they were going to retire early. And I was brand new, I didn't know what to do, so I figured, oh, Annette's been around a little while, I'll go talk to her about it. And she said, what are their names? And of course, they had all taught her kids, so she had their phone numbers and could call them. And she called me back like 3 or 4 days later and said, David, I've talked to all of those teachers, we're going to get this solved.
She just epitomizes compromise, and she's willing to listen, and she's focused, very direct, and has very strong opinions, but she's able to compromise, and I see that as, we've all worked together, that she's willing to give and take for the good of the whole, and she will be missed, and her influence will definitely be missed as we continue our work on behalf of Chandler.
She has a warmth and kindness for all people, and she shows that, and that's very unique. And so I'd say thank you for that, for being another role model that we can aspire to.
I would say that we're losing a piece of our hearts with Chandler, with her leaving.
And that I will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of trustee
for Chandler Unified School District Number 80
for Chandler Unified School District Number 80
according to the best of my ability, so help me God.
According to the best of my ability, so help me God. Congratulations.
Loves her family, and that's always been her first motivation. That's what got her into all of this. Is she started volunteering in the kids' classrooms, and then she started volunteering in the schools, and then she was I think she was a PTO board president somewhere, and then started doing things for the school district. When she was on the school board, she was still volunteering at Goodman Elementary. And even though she was the president of the school board at the time, she went into Goodman Elementary, and they gave her the job to copy papers for the teachers. And she went in once a week and copied papers for the teachers. And she didn't have this sense of self-importance like she had to do something really big. She just wanted to go help, and that's kind of what her life has been like. She just likes helping people. It's going to be hard on her. She knows that it's time for her to step down, but it's been 20 years she's been doing this, and she spends a lot of time at it. And I've always been impressed. I've been on the boards of a few volunteer organizations, and I didn't put in near as much work as she did. But I've always been impressed that she really wants to go to all the functions. She wants to go to all the board breakfast meetings. She wants to visit the schools, and she knows all of the schools and all the principals and a lot of the teachers. And it's just, again, she's just dedicated.
I don't know if you could name one person that has been close to our district that has a stronger passion for children and for people than Annette Auxier. And she is driven by that passion. She's smart, articulate, caring, and when you put that passion together with it, the quality things happen. I think the care aspect of our district, the fact that we care for each other, the fact that we have a familial piece to caring for our students, our parents, and our staff, really exudes from Annette's work here. No matter what she has been in, it's always been about people first.
I was blessed to have the opportunity to work with Annette for 15 years, and learned so much about empathy and integrity and what a great school board member does for a district. Annette is a wonderful listener, and you always knew that she heard you and that she considered your thoughts even when she made another decision. But she always made her decisions based on the best interests of children. There was nothing ever wrong with that.
There are always tough issues as you're growing, and to stay steady and just moving forward, and again, always focused on what's good for the kids. That's always been the bottom line. And certainly Annette has been a huge part of that for 20 years. 20 years. It's amazing.
Oh, we just loved her at Chandler High. When I became principal, I remember that she would come over and talk to me sometimes. And she would always be so nice. She wouldn't be demanding or anything like that. She would just, Terry, can you do me a favor? I know you got a dance coming up, and some of the parents have been calling me, and they're concerned about, oh, this or that about the dance, and especially about kids dancing too close, or what they're gonna wear, or what this or that. And so it was kind of funny. We had the Annette standard after a while.
Honestly, of all the board members we've had, Annette is one of the top 4, along with Bassett, Tarwater, and Knox. I've really appreciated knowing her as a parent, as a board member, a community person. Her and her husband have done so much for our students in our schools, and I really appreciate everything she has done.
Nobody works harder than her. If you say, I need something done, she's the first one there that will tell you what to do and how to do it, and then be the one that does it the biggest. And she always does it happy. She's always smiling, she's always laughing. It's just so fun to be around her. And I don't know of anybody that doesn't love and like her. She always is there for everybody.
Annette was at a function over the weekend, and I don't think it had anything to do with school, but she had met somebody who had just moved to Chandler and was talking to them about the schools. And that person had said that they were a little hesitant to send their child to Fry. And Annette said, oh, they have a firecracker principal over there. You should really go check it out. You'd be impressed. They were thinking about sending their child to the charter school across the street, whose name we don't really say. Well, that parent came into our office that next Monday and registered their child at our school, told my front office staff that story, and we thought it was funny. And so next time I saw Annette, I told her, and in true Annette fashion, she started crying. She was so excited.
At the end of our graduation, we always had a board member do the tassel ceremony, where they would move the tassel from one side to the other. Well, Miss Tierney helped organize all that each year, and she had always asked, who's going to be the board member? And I said, well, sometimes I'm not real sure. And she says, well, I need to know. And there was a reason. If it was going to be Mrs. Auxier, we needed the Kleenex, because Mrs. Auxier, bless her heart, she became a little emotional at the end of our graduations.
Of course, we all know and experience her sensitivity. You know, something sweet. She's going to be asking a Boy Scout to do the Pledge of Allegiance, and that's going to touch her heart, and she's going to start to tear up. When the board, we were kind of all looking at each other. Oh, there, okay, she's emotional again, but it was so genuine. After a while, you were like, well, that's her. That is Annette, and God bless her for that.
She's just been a joy to work with, and the give and take has, I think, what has made the Chandler board so strong is the willingness to meet in the middle, and she has helped facilitate that. There's no doubt in my mind. So I would certainly tell her thank you, and that I love her, and I just hope she and Gary get lots of miles in, because I know they're anxious to travel and do things with their family.